Well, joining us now on the first on CNBC interview is the regulator who's pushed hard to get us to this point, Gary Gensler, chairman of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Gensler.
Good to be with you, Simon.
I mean, critically, from your point of view, derivatives that are made to trade through a clearinghouse have their risk underwritten by that platform, of course, in the event that a major dealer goes bust.
Well, yes, clearinghouses lower risk to the public by standing between the buyers and sellers in case either goes bust. We need to do that, as the senator said, for all standard derivatives.
And how motivated are you by the fact that if products are standardized and trades are printed on a tape as you want, transparency will presumably lead to lower fees for Wall Street? I mean, do you see abnormal profits being made as things stand at the moment?
Well, I think what we need to do for the public is bring transparency like we have in the stock market, transparency like we have in the regulated derivatives markets called futures. And so that transparency benefits the public, but Wall Street is opposed to this.
The big concern, of course, is that costs will shoot up as soon as dealers who have to post margin for a platform start passing that down the line.
Well, Simon, if I can separate that, transparency lowers cost. All the economic studies say this. It lowers cost. What some are concerned about is the clearing and posting margin, but transparency absolutely lowers cost.
Well, look, there's a very active debate about which end users should be exempt. Does the bill that was published on Friday by Blanche Lincoln, in your view, force enough instruments through the clearing houses or the electronic exchanges?
We're making very good progress. Chairman Lincoln put out a strong bill that brings close to 90% of the standard product into the clearing houses. It covers all the financial entities in America and elsewhere. I think that's a very strong step.
And where do you guess the end result will be once it's battled through all the politicians?
Well, I've advocated, and I think the administration is there as well, we must have a trading requirement, we must have a clearing requirement, and a very narrow, non-financial end-user exemption.
You spent, of course, 18 years yourself climbing Goldman Sachs, partner at 30, I believe, then co-head of finance. How does the experience that you had there inform the way that you're now approaching your role as regulator?
Well, I'm honored to have had that experience, but it does inform me. Wall Street's interests are different than Main Street's. Wall Street's is about their profits and their compensation and their clients, but it's not about America's interest. We have to look after America right now.
So in general, would the measures that you're proposing now have prevented the sort of allegations that we saw on Friday from the SEC against members of the industry overall?
Well, Simon, I don't think I can address an ongoing matter of investigative matter. But I do think that reform will lower risk to the American public and increase transparency, and we must do this.
Okay, Mr. Gensler, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you. Coming up on Closing Bell.